Hey, what up everybody? Rob the Mellow Guy here, and I'm back at you with another video update for the channel. Have a few releases I'll be talking about, new vinyl additions to the collection, so I'll be excited to kind of get into those. One of them I actually brought up on the last video, if you want to check that out, when I was talking about Got the first two albums that were put out by Drag City on vinyl. That's the last video if you want to go and check it out. But I was talking that I had pre-ordered Pilgrimage, and it came in. I was really happy. It came in actually the week before I went on my vacation, so I was able to get that. Here you go, Pilgrimage, one of my favorite releases from actually probably is my favorite album. Love the sound from top to bottom. I can talk about it for days. It's a release that just had such an impact on me when I first heard it, and then during a part of my life in college, I just say, man, this album right here, Chris, Hayakis, Alta Stranezza, they delivered, man. And it's tough because it's the last album that Chris plays on before he took a departure from and then also, of course, he kind of stepped away from the music business, and then when Sleep put out that full-length album, he was not involved in that, which was a bit of a bummer. Actually, I'm going to be talking about Sleep a little later in the video here, because there's a lot that's going on in that world with the Sleep, and even you could say it relates to But this album, Chris and Al were just, they were on another level of just the synchronicity, how everything sounded. And you got to give the mastermind behind it, Steve Albini, man. What a legendary producer, engineer. This guy just has a knack for getting artists to come together and really putting out some quality material. And I love the first couple releases with Billy Anderson. And for the people who do not know, those albums were recorded in Prairie Sound in Cotati, California, not too far from Sonoma State University. And up there, I had a lot of friends that were big fans of and Sleep that would bring that up. We talk about it, Prairie Sound. But this album was a little bit of a departure. They reached out, worked with Steve, and that's why I just think these songs too, and just how this album feels, so hypnotic. Love just how it has this almost like transcendental feel to it. Just the music starts out very calm, and then they do the reprise at the end. But man, you get that united knowledge of the Godhead, that bass when it kicks in. That's some heavy stuff right there. I love that. I've always loved when the bass and the distortion kicks in, and it's almost like an explosion, right? Here it is, you're in this trance-like state, and then bam, it just hits you. And then Behemoth's theme, very catchy sounding riff. And again, Chris is a drummer. I was watching some videos of Chris when he was playing, with Sleep live in the 90s. Man, Sleep in the 90s was you talk about Holy Mountain being a great album. Watch the videos of them performing. I believe it's down south in San Diego, and they're like 93, something like that, early 90s. And Chris, geez, the amount of momentum and force he puts behind the drums, and when he plays, it almost like spreads out to Al and Matt. But you're watching this guy give so much effort, and his timing and everything. I have to say, Chris Hayakis is one of the most underrated drummers. Hayakis is great. I probably mispronounced his name. It's Chris Hayakis. I always say Hayakis for some reason. I don't know why. I always mispronounce. But anyway, let's see. You get the lyrics here. Like that, how you open it up, you get all the lyrics, and how it kind of breaks it out. It's almost like it tells a story there, right? It's very, very well put together, this vinyl with the lyrics inside like that. And then let's see here, get show you off the olive green. It's kind of cool. They had a couple of other variants, but I like this one the best, so that's why I got it. Definitely wanted to get that. Pre-ordered it. Maybe there's still copies. Southern Wood Records put this out. I actually got the shirt as well that they were doing, I guess. Put that on their website, so I bought that. Yeah, Pilgrimage on vinyl. I don't know. I think it was on vinyl originally, but they did not do a lot of pressing, so that's why Southern Lord doing this was such a big deal, man. And then Drag City, of course, putting out those first 2 albums are now on vinyl, so if you're interested, go check that out. And I will tell you this. I thought with the putting this out, the Pilgrimage on vinyl, and the Drag City stuff, and then Al did a collaboration with another artist. The song Pillars of Fire was just unbelievable. Like when I saw that, I couldn't believe how well everything turned out. And I thought, okay, he's going to be doing another Om release. Like I'm thinking either that or he's going to be doing a tour with Om. That was my kind of thought process. Like, okay, if all this stuff's going on with Om, right? Emil Amos and him are going to get back together, and he's going to go out and maybe either tour or put out an album. And then it was like, just like yesterday, all of a sudden, all this stuff's blowing up on any social media account I have about Sleep. And I'm going, well, what the heck's going on? It's like, Sleep this, Sleep. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I hear there's a new song. There's a new Sleep track out, everybody. And I'm going, okay, I'm interested to hear this. I mean, again, it's not going to have Chris Hakeas. It's going to have just, Matt Pike and Al Cisneros and the other guy that played on the Sciences. I feel bad. His name's eluding me right now. Again, I'm like, okay, I'll be checking it out. But I read the description and it goes, drums, Dale Crover. From the Melvins? Like I said, okay, that's cool. Hey, Dale's a great drummer. I've seen the Melvins live twice, and he puts on a great performance, man. He is a solid drummer, especially the first time I saw the Melvins at Slim's in like 2012. Dude, he played awesome, man. And it was Trevor Dunn on bass. Like that was a really solid rhythm section that night. Like I'm telling you, okay, Dale's in the Sleep now. He's playing. That's cool. I'm definitely going to be excited to hear this track. And then I saw John Bubba Dupree from Void. Very iconic punk band. If you have not checked out the Void and the Faith split, 2 bands from the DC area. The Faith, very underrated hardcore punk band. And then Void, they got some killer material. That split is one of the best punk releases, right? One of the best hardcore releases. And it definitely captures that DC, that whole area in the punk scene out there in the early 80s, man, what was going on. And then you had bands Minor Threat, of course, Bad Brains, all those bands. But Void and the Faith, that split, man, a lot of people, punk, metal people cited it as very influential. So I'm like, okay, you got a really good guitarist there too. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Heard the new Sleep song. Personally, it's just okay. How I would describe it as, it was not horrible, but I was a bit underwhelmed at times. Like there's a keyboard section, the riff is just, it's a doom riff, but man, it doesn't have that Matt Pike sound and feel, right? When Matt's playing, the riffs just hit you. And he's got such I mean, it's like a savage but catchy tone. That was missing. And I think that kind of bummed me. I was really hoping to see, to hear, kind of like, maybe, okay, let's get back to just that raw kind of style. Again, they're not going to sound like Holy Mountain. You can't do Holy Mountain number 2, but the song that they put out, have a helmet, Space Helmet Will Travel. I've already forgotten the name pretty much. Because it didn't grab me. To me, it was one of the things where it wasn't horrible, didn't make me go, oh, this sucks, Sleep's just, But I just felt like, they could have done, or I don't know, it just didn't have the feel of Sleep, right? And some people I've actually heard, they say like, oh, it's really just another Om track. Even that, I personally don't feel the connection to Om. It doesn't have that. I'm sorry. It just doesn't, to me, fall into that category, especially the last release. It doesn't have that style and that feel and the atmospheric elements. I mean, yeah, it has a keyboard section, but it didn't grab me. But again, I think there's gonna be a full length album, so maybe there'll be other tracks. We'll have a better, and that always happens too. We have to be careful, right? When one song comes out, you start to judge and say, well, this will be the entire album. And I've had that happen where bands put out a single, and the first single does not do anything for people. Then they hear the full album, they go, okay, I can see why maybe they wanted to put this out to give a taste. Now, again, if the entire album's like this new track, yeah, it's gonna just be subpar. It's not gonna make me go, I gotta go out and buy a copy. But I would say that, man, Al, I can understand he wants to keep doing music. That's his thing. Chris stepped away, and Chris gave reasons. I think it was family related. You want to focus on family, and didn't seem to want to be doing like the music business, constant album touring. I understood that. So when Chris, it was like, okay, continued. Amos, great drummer. I love God is Good. That is a really awesome album. I have that in my collection. And then Abiotic Songs. I said, okay, that's fine, And then when Sleep continued, hey, you still have Matt, right? You still have the riffs. And then Al and Matt, together. And then it turned into, okay, now we don't have Matt. And it just feels like it's Al and company, right? It's cool. Like, again, and also I'm going to say this, a lot of people are doing the whole on the comments, no Matt Pike, no Sleep or something. And I'm like, if Al owns the rights to the name, he can do it. Personally, yeah. I mean, how I feel, but again, we're just fans, right? I would like it just to be like Al Cisneros' solo project with Dale Crover of the Melvins, John Bubba Dupree playing guitar. That to me would be more like, okay. But then, hey, because it's Sleep putting out new music, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's making videos. Everyone's commenting on social media. And then, of course, what's going to happen when they're already putting the tour dates out and venues are already, got the buy tickets. I saw the ticket prices. I'm like, yeah, no wonder he's putting the Sleep name on it. Because if he just did Al Cisneros solo project or something, they can't get away with, like, venues can't get away with the fees, right? The promoters can't get away with, like, okay, we can jack up the price. Because I saw one place in the Bay Area that was charging for their tickets, and I said, yeah, I can see why it's called Sleep. Because guess what? Those tickets are going to be pretty significant. I was like, okay, it kind of does make sense, right? And hey, people they see the name Sleep, they're gonna run to it, right? They're gonna say, okay, check it out, buy the album, pre-order maybe. That's what they're gonna do. So my whole thing is, I'll hold off full judgment. Again, like I said, it wasn't horrible, wasn't amazing though. It made me insanely excited to where it's like, oh, I can't wait to maybe buy a vinyl copy of it. I felt like I was in the middle, and really, like I'm saying, I thought there was going to be more related work this year because again, you're putting out these albums on vinyl. Hell, Al, I think it would probably make fans more interested, and probably people would be really excited if Al did like a Pilgrimage tour, right? Play Pilgrimage in its entirety or something. Do something like that and then play some other tracks. That tour would probably really draw people out. You would get the fan base excited. And a lot of bands are doing that, right? But I can understand artists want to make new music, right? They're going to go out there. They want to make new music, right? And they're again, and I understand that. But there also comes this time where you go, okay, you've changed so much when it comes to the sound, bringing people in, the elements start changing. And sometimes the fans' expectations, given what they have heard in the past, when they're hearing the new stuff, especially with a person like, well, Matt Pike, has quit. So now you bring in this new guitarist, a guy that has, again, he's been around. He's also played in other projects too. I think he played in Soundgarden for a bit or something. He contributed, I believe, as a guest. So it's like he's done stuff. but it's the fans are gonna say not what I expected, and that's what I think's happening. So it's one of those things. I'm again not like, oh, this is horrible. You can't call it sleep. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw a tantrum. And no, I'm not doing that. But I'm definitely not in the world of oh my goodness, I can't wait to I'm gonna rush to go buy a ticket or rush to go pre-order a new album. It's one of those things. So I'll let you people decide. Give me your thoughts on the new Sleep. Anyway, let's get to the other two releases I got. Ordered Acid King, man. They had a bunch of albums I wanted to get. Great doom band from San Francisco Bay Area. This is actually the EP kind of demo release produced by Dale Crover of the Melvins. Bringing it back, right? Connection to Dale Crover. He actually does the vocals on the Midway. But Lead Paint, that's my favorite track off of this. And I like this too. You get a photo of the band, get some good photos, and then you get opens on this side. This is a cool color. Yeah, go check out their Bandcamp. They got a ton of vinyls for sale, the releases. This one though, the self-titled EP/demo. I love this. Four great tracks, man. Killer songs. Let me put this back here. Yep. So got that. I'd bring up, and then my favorite Acid King album, Acid King 3. Love this release. Cool album cover. You got Lori holding that Gibson Les Paul. And then Two Wheel Nation. When I had my radio show in college, I played quite a few songs from this album. That's why I think there's also a connection. Special reason why I like it is Two Wheel Nation, Heavy Load I was playing, and I believe I was also playing War of the Mind. Like those songs. For some reason, I played a lot of songs from this album when I had my radio show because I personally like this album the most. I mean, the first full-length Acid King album is good, but for some reason, this album just really connected. I love the way it sounds, the songs. And this is a cool vinyl variant, man. This is awesome. The splatter. If you're a fan of Acid King and Acid King 3, you got to get this if you don't. This is a must, man. I'm telling you. If you haven't heard this album, you're a fan of that good old doom hard rock, got that 70s vintage motorcycle, apocalyptic, just tripping out, driving through the desert feel. It's right here, man. Good stuff. I like the back photo too. The art, the way they did this is so cool, man. The photography, and then the way they edited it, it just fits like the sound, right? That kind of dark and doomy, groovy sound. That's why I just love Acid King. And they just played Europe. They did a tour. Actually, they played in Santa Cruz at Moe's Alley. I wish I would have gone to that. It was like a matinee show, too. It was in the afternoon, so who would have thought? But anyway, those are the releases. And I want to give a shout out. Speaking of new music, not only did Sleep put out a new song, but my good buddy Matt Lasser from Pale Cremation, guy that I've talked about before here, he put out a new track. Not just a new track, he put out a whole new album, man. It's pretty good. If you are into synth, doom, progressive rock, futuristic, trippy, cinematic songs, Alta Stranezza. Really cool release. It's only $3 on Bandcamp. Okay, $3. Stop giving them OnlyFans girls money. Matt's definitely got more talent than them hoes, so just saying, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna probably do a review. I'm liking this. It's like only 4 or 5 tracks, but there's a ton of cool compositions, variety of different elements, and also if you're a fan of real badass black metal, you gotta check out Empty Chalice, Majesty of Sin. Whew, puts that romantic black metal crap to shame. Just pounds it into that ground, Kek Baraka or Araka, that crap. And what was it? The one where the guy is laying down with the rose and he's got the goofy looking like a page boy, the haircut and the freaking, look, I don't even want to know what it is. And it just, no. No, you gotta check out Empty Chalice, Majesty of Sin. It reminds me a lot of like Marduk mixed with kind of the war metal, especially bands like Blasphemy. But you even have like elements of Merciful Fate going on, and even like early Bathory. It's definitely a great release if you like that kind of style black metal. So check it out, Empty Chalice, Majesty of Sin. All right, if you have any questions or you want to put a comment, like I said, hey, what are your thoughts on the new Sleep song? Put it below, definitely. Make sure to like and subscribe. Rod the Metal Guy here, signing out. Later.